Look, most of the time we get insanely scared in our lives. For example, trying to hide under the blanket while playing LEGO Star Wars 3 on your Nintendo DS, while hearing the footsteps of your mom coming into your room, and holy shit, you only got 5 seconds until you fucking die. Or usually from watching or playing anything to do with horror. Usually when people want to get a scare, they usually watch something like The Shining. But another way of showing horror other than movies is through 2 words that your mom does not want to hear. Video games. Horror has been implanted into many video games for a really long time. And over the years they have improved the genre by a lot. In games such as The Last of Us, Resident Evil, or Minecraft. When you're next to a lava pit while also mining diamonds while also fighting a horde of creepers. That shit scars you for life. But what makes for a good horror game, you may ask? Because sometimes I see people think that what makes a horror game good is through some jump scares and a guy with no face following you everywhere you go. And yeah, that is pretty creepy, but let me say that shit is pretty whack. But what makes a horror game good is through specific themes that go into a horror game. A. Tension. B. Uncertainty. C. Suspense. D. Isolation. And E. Disempowerment. Usually when playing a game such as Resident Evil, you feel that kind of tension that makes you feel strained and makes your mind more aware of your surroundings, as you don't want to get jump scared from freaking Nemesis over here. A horror game can make you feel uncertain and really confused at times.
Yes! Yes!
As you don't know when some bear jump scares you, or when your mom finally takes your Nintendo DS away from you.
Hear the roar.
You've got 10 seconds to beat it before I add you to the list of NSF casualties.
This week we've had a lot of time to stand back.
He was a good man. What a rotten way to die.
What the fuck did I make? A game that isn't particularly a horror game that I want to use as an example is a game called Arkham Knight. This is a very random event that happens in the game, as you play as Batman, and you immediately think that since you're playing as Batman, you're all powerful and nothing bad could happen to you. Until...
How far is it? I can fly over. I can fly over there. I can grapple.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Now this may not look as scary if you haven't played the game, until you finally get jump scared and pooped all over your pants. It's okay, here's your diapers, you baby. But by making the player more unaware of any time they'll get jump scared, makes it all the better and gives you that feeling of suspense that will leave you even more scared of the game. Also, a lot of horror games, when making the character able to move area to area, they'll usually isolate you from any human contact as possible, making you feel alone while knowing you're in danger and something just doesn't seem right. And gives them that uncertainty to make the player unaware of anything that's happening. And then you get that suspense when you finally get jump scared. But there's also one element that goes into a horror game. The disempowerment. In most video games you feel that empowerment where you basically feel like God himself. And nothing can ever stop you. Until your mom takes your console away.
Guys, this is it! Video gaming is done!
Maybe you should try getting a job.
But what a horror game usually do is strip all the empowerment away from you, making you feel more in danger than ever, limiting the use of ammo, and making the use of stealth really important. Unless for Resident Evil 5 when Chris Redfield breaks a boulder with his 2 bare hands. By giving that disempowerment to the character, you feel weaker, you feel more scared of how many bullets you use, giving that extra challenge for you to play. And another example I would give as disempowering the character would be in a game called Resident Evil 2 Remake, with a huge ass guy chasing you everywhere you go, and can even go into your safe rooms, which scares the shit out of me. I always like to look at Mr. X as representing the player in other video games, when they're all godlike and shit. And the character you play as more of the enemy that you have to beat up. So in switching those roles, you can finally feel like a normal human being for once, instead of being a fucking god. And makes you even more scared of playing the game. There's one game that doesn't look like a horror game, yet it is. Virginity and loneliness? Yep. Doki Doki Literature Club is an anime dating game with cute anime girls that, hear me out, you can date. Finally, someone will actually love me. Oh gosh, oh fuck! Doki Doki Literature Club is a great example for deceiving the player into thinking this is some normal anime dating game, but in reality, this is more of a horror game in the sense that it makes the player more uncomfortable to play. The game also executes the disempowerment of the player in an excellent way, as you're not playing the game is playing you. Like, there really isn't any way that you could save any of these girls from dying. Yeah, you could possibly try find a way to keep them alive and progress through the game, but the game basically always finds a way to trick the player into thinking that they're making progress, and then bada bing, bada boom, fuck. But not all horror games are equally as good as another. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's and Bully's Basic look creepy, it isn't just scary or fun to play as they rely too much on jump scares and nothing else. Also, a special thanks to Zollycat as he basically helped me with a portion of this video, and because he makes good content.
Stupid Audi. Jeez, keep falling.
Cringe.
Can you imagine a million? I wanna build up a billion. I made a band with my siblings before I had any villains. Okay, true shit, true shit, true shit. They love my shit, I live